The iPhone 14 is expected to release later this year, and the reveal of iOS 16 gives us the first official hint of what to expect from Apple's next phones. The iPhone 13 is hugely popular, but that doesn't mean Apple isn't working hard on the iPhone 14 already. And given a surprising number of leaks, we've already got some idea of what the company could be planning for its 2022 flagship range. In fact, if the rumors are true, it could be a much more exciting upgrade than what's on offer from the iPhone 13, with current rumors pointing towards a potential redesign, the removal of the Face ID notch, and an improved camera setup too. With that in mind, we outline all there is to know about the iPhone 14 right now, including release date and pricing predictions, as well as the latest leaks and rumors detailing what to expect from Apple's 2022 flagship iPhone range. Apple officially unveiled the iPhone 13 in September 2021. So we're still quite some time away from the release of the next-gen iPhone 14. While there aren't any solid release date rumors right now, iPhone releases tend to happen in September, with the exception of 2020 amidst the pandemic. So with that in mind, we expect the iPhone 14 range to be released sometime in September 2022. Don't expect wide availability at launch though. It has been noted by Nikkei Asia that production on the new iPhone 14 Max has suffered as part of the month-long COVID lockdowns in China, with a rather slow pace of reopening. The report claims Apple has told suppliers to speed up production development. But ultimately, there could be limited stock of the iPhone 14 Max if and when it does appear later this year. Despite being quite some time away from the potential release, we've got a rough idea of what the iPhone 14 will offer, and it's set to be an exciting one if current rumors are to be believed. We all knew it was coming, after poor iPhone 12 mini sales, and expecting very much the same with the iPhone 13 mini. Ming-Chi Kuo suggests that Apple will discontinue the line officially in 2022. Instead, the company is said to offer 6.1-inch and 6.7 inches variants of both the base and Pro models, meaning we could see the introduction of a new iPhone 14 Max alongside the iPhone 14 Pro Max. The elect goes as far as to suggest that the iPhone 14 Max could offer the same 120Hz refresh rate as the Pro range, although this is dependent on manufacturing costs and availability. A 9to5 Mac source has also confirmed that the Mini is indeed dead, set to be replaced by an iPhone 14 Max with the internal codename D28, although there is no mention of the possibility of ProMotion support. Mark Gurman also believes the iPhone 14 Max will share the 14 Pro Max display, though like other sources, is yet to comment on ProMotion support. The introduction of a new Max model was all but confirmed when leaked images of alleged iPhone 14 metal molds appeared on Chinese social network Weibo in April 2022, depicting two 6.1-inch and two 6.7 inches models. That was followed up by the reveal of iPhone 14 dummies by leaker Sonny Dixon, showcasing the two 6.1-inch and two 6.7 inches models in all their glory ahead of release later this year. At this point, the replacement of the iPhone mini with the iPhone Max is all but confirmed, but we'll have to wait for Apple to reveal the smartphone range later this year to know for sure. Back in March 2021, Apple analyst Ming-Chi Kuo released predictions not only for the iPhone 13, but the iPhone 14, though it was referred to as the 2022 iPhone, not specifically the 14. In the note to investors, the analyst suggested that certain models of iPhone 14 could ditch the notch that houses the Face ID smarts. It has been present on every iPhone since the iPhone X, and although Apple shrank the unit by 20% on the iPhone 13, it's apparently not done just yet. According to Kuo, the Pro models will instead offer a punch hole cutout for the front-facing camera while still keeping full Face ID functionality, offering an almost full-screen viewing experience. The analyst then doubled down on the claim in late September 2021, again suggesting that the Pro models will ditch the notch for a hole-punch camera. Bloomberg's Mark Gurman also seems to think that Apple will ditch the notch for a hole-punch camera in 2022, with Gurman suggesting a complete redesign is on the way, and the elect's unnamed industry sources also point towards a hole punch. But while you might assume it's a circular hole punch, whispers suggest otherwise. Leaker Dylan claims it'll instead be pill-shaped, and while he doesn't go into any more detail, it sounds like it'll be close to a dual front-facing camera setup like that of the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus. But what about a combination of the two? That's what display analyst Ross Young believes. Taking to Twitter, the analyst, with a 100% track record, predicts a combination of a circular hole punch and a pill-shaped cutout on the front of the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max. The leaker even showcased an image in the tweet. Although it's an inverse view, the pill-shaped cutout is allegedly on the left, with the circular hole punch on the right. Young also claims that the hole is said to house the Face ID projector, while the pill cutout will house the front-facing camera and Face ID's infrared camera at a minimum. 9to5Mac sources suggest that the iPhone 14 Pro range could be slightly taller than iPhones before it to help accommodate that pill-shaped cutout. The hole plus pill combination has appeared in leaked CAD renders and schematics mentioned earlier, and Bloomberg's Mark Gurman also believes the combo is incoming, suggesting that Apple has indeed decided on the rather odd camera cutout. Most recently, the alleged front panels for the entire range have leaked on Weibo, corroborating many of the earlier rumors we'd heard. Twitter leaker Morik HD has a slightly different take though. The leaker instead suggests that there will be no notch or hole punch camera, but instead slightly thicker bezels on all four sides that'll completely house the front-facing camera and Face ID technology. As with the notch, the new camera cutout is a stepping stone to a true full-screen iPhone, and Ming Kai Kuo expects that to be dropped within 2 years too. Taking to Twitter in April 2022, the analyst claims that the real full-screen iPhone will come in 2024. He explained that the high-end Pro models would adopt an under-display front camera alongside the under-display Face ID. So, while the iPhone 14 Pro might not have a true full-screen display, it's likely in the works behind closed doors at Apple Park. That brings the design close to a merger between the iPhone 12 and the iPhone 4. A comparison made stronger by the inclusion of circular volume controls, something not seen in the range since the iPhone 4 era. While the redesign looks interesting, it's looking increasingly likely that it was simply a false rumor. More recent reports suggest a more familiar chassis is on the way, largely mirroring that of the iPhone 13 range, and that includes updated claims from Prosser himself. Leaked CAD renders of the iPhone 14 Pro were shared via 91 Mobiles in March 2021. Allegedly sourced from industry sources. The renders depict the redesigned Face ID notch on the front, while the rest of the chassis looks identical to that of the iPhone 13 Pro. Days later, leaker Max Weinbach posted images of alleged iPhone 14 Pro schematics on Twitter, providing more context to the leaked CAD renders released days before. According to the schematics, we should expect a slightly larger camera bump along with minimal changes to the chassis, measuring in at 0.1mm shorter and ever so slightly thinner than its predecessor. Though the changes are minimal, it'll likely mean that iPhone 13 Pro cases won't be compatible with the 14 Pro. But we'll have to wait until launch to be sure. Just weeks after the iPhone 14 Pro schematics appeared online, alleged renders of the ultra-premium iPhone 14 Pro Max surfaced via Twitter. Twitter user Biencho Kotako has tweeted images of a CAD file depicting the top-end iPhone and threw in a few measurements too. For the leaked images, it looks like the iPhone 14 Pro Max will ditch the traditional Face ID notch for something more streamlined, and it'll have a larger camera cutout, but bigger design changes outlined by John Prosser seem to be missing. It's said that the iPhone 14 Pro Max will measure in at 160.71 by 78.53 by 12.16 millimeters. Though the extra thickness is said to account for the larger camera bump on the rear, it shouldn't be that thick all over. It has also been suggested that the bezel of the display will shrink from the 2.42mm of the iPhone 13 Pro Max to just 1.95mm, though just how much of an effect that'll have on the display experience is yet to be seen. Leaked images of iPhone 14 production molds also seem to confirm the increased camera cutout across the range, though most notably on the Pro models. One of the key new features of the iPhone 13 Pro and 13 Pro Max is the 120Hz ProMotion display, offering buttery smooth animations compared to the 60Hz display of the iPhone 13 and iPhone 13 mini. While some might have hoped that the upgraded tech would transition to the rest of the line with the iPhone 14, like with the sensor shift OIS that was exclusive to the iPhone 12 Pro Max before the iPhone 13 range, a report from the Elect suggests differently. Citing unnamed supply chain sources, the South Korean outlet suggests that the 120Hz LTPO OLED panels will be exclusive to the Pro models, while the standard models will use the same 60Hz LTPS OLED panels as the 13 range. However, an early 2022 prediction from analyst Jeff Pu seems to fly in the face of the Elect's claim. Instead, the analyst suggests that the entire iPhone 14 range will feature a 120Hz refresh rate, although with a less established track record than other analysts. It's worth taking with a pinch of salt. Camera improvements are almost a given when it comes to the yearly iPhone update, but the iPhone 14 Pro range is said to house something special. A new 1x1.3 inches 48MP CMOS image sensor for the main wide-angle lens. What's more impressive is that the new sensor could offer hybrid operating modes to improve pixel size and light gathering capabilities. Kuo believes that the new 2022 iPhone may support 48MP output, and 12MP output simultaneously. Merging pixels to improve quality, also known as pixel binning, isn't a new concept for Android users, but it'll be a first for the iPhone. That's not all either. Kuo claims that with 12MP output, the CIS pixel size of the new 2H22 iPhone increases to about 2.5 which is significantly larger than the iPhone 12 and iPhone 13, and larger than existing Android phones, and close to the DSC level. For reference, the iPhone 13 pixels measure in at 1.7 while the Pro line cranks that up to 1.90. Along with improved image quality, Kuo believes that it'll also enable 8K video capture, a massive jump over 4K offered right now, though he doesn't detail potential frame rates. Kuo reiterated the claim in late September, while also suggesting the changes would be exclusive to the two high-end models, a claim that has been backed up more recently by Bloomberg's Mark Gurman. The idea of a 48MP snapper with 8K video capabilities has also been backed up by analysts, and again more recently by analysts at TrendForce, lending more credence to the claim. It's worth noting that most rumors currently point towards the standard iPhone 14 using the same 12MP camera as the iPhone 13. It's not just the rear-facing camera getting an upgrade though. Kuo suggests that we should also look forward to an improved selfie camera too. While not much is known about specs, Kuo is confident that it'll feature an upgrade from fixed focus to autofocus, which should vastly improve the quality and look of shots taken with the front-facing camera. Apple's A15 Bionic at the heart of the iPhone 13 runs on an improved 5nm process, offering improvements to efficiency and power compared to the 5nm A14 Bionic. But changes aren't that dramatic compared to the A14 Bionic. That's set to change with the iPhone 14, however, according to a TrendForce analyst forecast. The forecast, which came out in late 2020, claims that Apple's 2022 iPhone range will be powered by a 4nm processor manufactured by TSMC, likely dubbed the A16 Bionic. Switching to a narrower structure width will allow for more noticeable improvements to performance and efficiency, which should also have a knock-on effect on battery life. All welcome upgrades to the iPhone experience that'll allegedly be paired with a boosted 8GB of RAM on the Pro models, according to Korean blog Naver citing unnamed sources. Anyway, given the fact that Apple tends to boost its RAM offering every 2 years, and it last got an upgrade with the iPhone 12 Pro range, there could be some truth to the claim, and it'll likely extend to the standard model too. It's not the only source pointing towards an increase either. Haedong International Securities analyst Jeff Pu also suggests that the iPhone 14 Pro range will boast an increased 8GB of RAM. Interestingly, a 9to5 Mac report from March 2022 suggests that Apple might, for the first time ever, split the chipset offering between the standard and Pro models, with only the iPhone 14 Pro range getting the latest A16 Bionic. The rumor suggests that the standard iPhone 14 range could instead sport a souped-up version of the A15 Bionic found in the iPhone 13, which could have an additional GPU core compared to the current offering. It's possible that Apple will brand it as the A15X, but this is yet to be confirmed. The concept was backed up within days by Ming-Chi Kuo, who tweeted in mid-March 2022 that the iPhone 14 and iPhone 14 Max would stick with the A15 chipset. And Mark Gurman also claims this will be the case, lending more credence to the idea. TrendForce followed up on its initial prediction in June 2022, suggesting that unlike prior offerings, only the latest processors are employed in the Pro series alongside more GPU power and RAM, while the standard models will sport the A15 Bionic. Keeping the new chipset exclusive to the Pro models would certainly make them look more pro, something Apple has had an issue with in recent years, but it'll be interesting to see the reaction from consumers at release later this year. It may sound obvious, but some of the biggest changes to the iPhone 14 will come from the new software, iOS 16. Of course, iOS 16 will be made available on other iPhones, every model from the iPhone 8 onwards, but the iPhone 14 series will be the first to ship with the new software. New features baked into iOS 16 include customizable lock screens, the ability to edit and undo send in iMessage, new shared photo library options for iCloud, and more.